Alright, hello and welcome to attempt number 3 to actually get this Islands game going. We've had an admin restart for Boat Gold and we've had a Nadya's Boys team restart. So Nadya's Boys do not have their restart to use for the rest of this series. Bots United still have theirs to use whenever they wish. This is Bots United's home maps after losing the Arabia team random game. And it's, as I was talking before, so sorry for the live stream viewers that are now hearing me repeat myself. There was a good debate about the merits of this as a home map choice for Bots United, because there are some very good Islands players for Nadya's Boys, most notably Pike, I should think, and also their teamwork is exceptionally good. Play together all the time, communicate well, and Islands is a map which can so often depend on great teamwork. But there are seasoned Islands players in the Bots United lineup. A couple of people were saying Miguel was one of the best water players in that lineup, if not the best, and also the Argentinian players. Just for myself, I've seen the old Dreamers Arge team do really well. So interesting, a debate to be had. Certainly, it's not an anti-home map choice, which I think it was Niddy was saying it was one of the worst map choices that you could think of for them as a home map. But equally, it's not one which disadvantages Nadya's Boys particularly. They'll be eminently comfortable, so let's see how it goes. Time to check out the player lineups and their civ positions. We're on Pike's point of view, but he's not the flank, and I always don't like to start with the flanks. The flank is actually 8th Wonder playing Vikings in the blue colour. Pike with pocket Japanese, which is fantastic. He's got a great area behind his island. I wouldn't be surprised to see him docking out there, making use of all this fish with those excellent Japanese fishing ships that really give you an advantage later on. And now we've got the discussion of, can you fix it? So do we have lag or fast proxy now? I'm just going to cry and curl up in a ball and just stop streaming. If we come back and restore this one. I can't do my intro again. It will just sound like the least sincere and genuine intro ever. I've never said all this stuff before. But anyway, Zuppy, Huns, Pocket, and Mentalist, Saracen, Pocket. I think those two would like to be probably switched round, I should think. Let's take a look at the Bots United team. We've got Goku playing Japanese flank, so there's an advantage for Nadya's Boys over Bots United on Bots home map. Always would like to see the Japanese in the pocket, I feel. Doing a forward dock as well, interesting. Although it is probably the best spot to fish that's on his map, really, unless he's going to walk all the way down here, which just doesn't seem likely, although this would be pretty good too. And then Nikov in the pocket, so Mongols pocket. On islands, Mongols can often take advantage of their faster uptime and do a really fast rush, so having them on the flank would be a little bit more ideal. Certainly I think Mongols and Japanese being reversed here would be massively advantageous. So Bots haven't done too well out of the civ positions here. They are going to play though, not using their restarts, just on account of civ positions. Huns pocket for Miguel, and then finally Vikings flank for Gary. So we're going to have Vikings war on the northern flank. But on the whole, I think the civilization positions are better for Nadya's Boys. Let's have a look at the docks. Gary going to dock in the back here, actually. He could have potentially gone to the northern corner of his island if he wanted to find good fish in the corner, but he's going to dock in the back and synchronise it with Miguel, who will do double dock and go up slightly later with the more fishing ships. Meanwhile, Nikov front docking with Mongols, going to try and probably make the best of that fast uptime despite being in the pocket on the way to the feudal age already. With a 22 population uptime, and Goku forward docking with Japanese, so they'll combine to go aggressive, I think, whilst Mentalist and Zuppy both back docking, playing a little bit more defensively there. Likewise, Pike, who will just have a whale of a time, if you'll pardon the pun, on a water map, just booming up with that Japanese pocket fish boom. I'd like to see him get a dock down here later on, but obviously pretty much anywhere at the back with this island position is fine for now. A little away from the edge of the map. Nice extra resource island, kind of favouring Nadya's boys there, shielded by both Wonder and Pike's islands with the extra gold on, and they've got another one right in front of their islands which kind of shields them on the front as well. So map generation and civ position advantage to Nadya's boys, I feel. Interestingly though, Wonder, 2 golds both forward and in range of the shore. Unfortunately, that early pause did desync the spectator server, so the game's going to keep speeding up and I'm going to have to keep slowing it down. So stop it bumping here. Take a look at the uptimes in the northern flank. We've got Gary and Wonder pretty much identical, and with them docking so far apart, that wouldn't be massively important anyway. We've got Wonder back docking all the way here along with Gary all the way here. The Nikov is the fastest up, second dock. Presume he's producing from 2 already. And waiting to add the third. Should have enough when those villagers drop off because he's already got galleys queued up here to keep the production flowing while he adds that third dock. And here he goes. From his point of view, fog of war on, see where he's pushing out to. These are his first 2 galleys. He's going to just go straight to the enemy. If we look at his dock here and then the waypoints that they have, they're pretty much in between the islands of Mentis and Zoppy. Obviously that's just a guess on the other side of the map. It's hard to tell whether he's thinking to go directly for the pocket or the flank here, but as it is, he'll cut right down this channel and he'll arrive in the fishing harbours of both Zuppy and Mentalist. So opportunity to pick a couple of fishing ships off here potentially. Mentalist is already up while Zuppy is quite slow to advance by comparison. But he has gone up to 13 fishing ships with Mentalist just under 4. So Zuppy really fish booming it up. Likewise Pike, both of those in double digits, but only Miguel is double digits fish booming for the bots team. So that will mean that Nadya's boys in the long term will have a little bit of an eco advantage. Probably likely to have 2 pocket players with the slightly faster castle times off the back of all those fish compared to just the 1 player having the same favourable circumstances as the bots team. But Nikov is here and he's starting to idle all of that fish, picking off a couple already, and Goku is joining him. So Zuppy with just 1 military, which will be his scout, and Mentalist with quite a bunch of galleys, but they are slightly out of position to defend Zuppy's fish for now. They're giving chase, but meanwhile Zuppy's having to run all the way around his island. He does, however, have a fantastic third dock up there, where he's still got lots of fishing ships working. Let's take a look at the north, where we see one of Wonder's galleys being sunk. So Gary with 1 kill to death thus far, 5 galleys each for the Vikings flanks, and Pike still yet to add military. Of course, he's only now hitting the feudal age, whereas Miguel is already up to the castle age. So he's the first out of all of the fish booming pockets. Miguel is the one with the fastest castle time. For now, there's just groups of galleys, pretty much just focusing in the Nabs harbours, looking for isolated fishing ships. Severe lack of micro going on here, and Mentalist is just going to take the fight with the better numbers. Let's quickly scroll through those guys that did do the fish boom, see how far away they are. Pike is close to clicking. He's lacking a little bit of gold actually. How many galleys is he doing? Producing galleys from 4 docks at this point. So he's going to make quite a lot of galleys in the feudal age, but with the gold income being increased just a bit, he will be able to click up as well and still have a good castle time. Probably click up at around minute 16. Maybe even a little bit sooner. Zuppy likewise, pretty much. So both Zuppy and Pike taking the same approach, but neither of them managed to get that Castle Age time that Miguel did, primarily because they were forced to add some military to deal with the fast raid on their fish by Nikov and Goku. Feels like Miguel probably just focused on fast castle and then started adding the galleys, so he's not got tremendous numbers to capitalise on with the war galley upgrade, but it's enough to make the difference in the north, I feel, where Gary is already pushing out against Wanda. He doesn't have a military advantage, and there's not been a lot of conflict between the two of them. It's just one kill in Gary's favour. So let's see if all sets of players are on patrol here. They should be, yeah. But this is going to be a nasty surprise for Wanda once those galleys upgrade into war galleys. Getting a nice little pick there before the upgrade kicks in. Well, it shouldn't be a nasty surprise because he'll be aware that Miguel is castled. But that's why he's kind of sticking to his docks and trying not to push out into the open water there. Meanwhile, in the southern corner, well, not really in the corner, but on the southern edge, Goku does have a pretty big presence on the docks of Zuppy here. Getting easy free kills there. Nikov's raiding Mentalist, and I think that this is going pretty well in the south for bots right now. Certainly Goku has good kill to death ratio, 7-3. Although, just looking at the relative Gary numbers, we've got 29, and yeah, the bots players have a couple of extra galleys on the field as well. Let's focus in the north, see how that war galley upgrade is allowing Miguel to push in and try and take a fight before the Nabs players are ready. Ike is actually only now hitting the Castle Age. Look at the time, he did click up at around minute 16, but he's going to be quite a while until he gets the upgrades. Only now getting fletching actually, so Bodkin will be following on even further behind. And good fight in the north right now for Bot's team, as pretty much most of the Nabs galleys are just sort of ineffectually patrolling backwards and forwards on top of one spot whilst taking free hits from the Bot's players. And now there are starting to be fishing ships going down. Wanda losing his fish. I wonder how far away he is from having the food to click up. Something I'll quickly check right now as this fight goes on. Let's refocus it. Yeah, not the best thing to be losing fish when you're still 400 food away from clicking up to the Castle Age. And in addition to that, Nikov is saying that all of Mentalist's fish are dead, but he has at least managed to click up. But still, Nikov and Goku are both well ahead of Mentalist. Zuppy, for now, with War Galley, is forcing both bots players to cease their attacks on the harbours of Zuppy and Mentalist. But their Castle Age timings are pretty decent. They will be able to just retreat and be pretty unscathed even as they come into contact with Zuppy's galleys, because we saw no ballistics there. Those war galley shots missing pretty easily, and Nikov and Goku will just retreat, group up, and then turn round and just run right back at Zuppy. Let's just take a quick look at numbers in the north. The pockets, Pike and Miguel both in 24 galleys, Gary with 20 to Wanda's 20, so it's basically even. But Gary has gone to the Castle Age first. He's going to be 2-3 minutes ahead of Wanda actually, so Gary playing pretty well, playing the better of the two Vikings flanks in the north, and with him about to get the War Galley upgrade as well, this is going to give a good couple of minutes for bots to try and make real progress in the north. Try and do a lot of damage here. They'll probably be able to get right on top of Wanda's docks and take down a dock or two, because it's going to be, like, as I said, 2 or 3 minutes until Nabs are able to take a fight here. Let's take a look how the other side's faring now that the upgrades have kicked in for Nikov and Goku. Nikov with war galleys. Zuppy's obviously having to retreat from that. So where are Goku's military right now? Should go to his point of view. So he doesn't have a terrible amount on the field, just 12, so most of it's probably just coming out of his docks right now. Ballistics for Nikov, ballistics for Gary. I didn't spot any other ballistics upgrades coming in up to now, although it could easily have missed them, of course. And only now is Wonder going to hit the Castle Age, so still a couple of minutes until those relevant upgrades come in for him. Fortunately though, bots aren't just parked on his docks taking him down, they're kind of chasing after Pike, who's managed to get some open water. And he's gonna go for the fight. He's repatrolled, he's gonna go back in. His galleys are stacking up really nicely compared to the bots ones, but the problem is there are 2 times the numbers there for bots, and I think Gary at least has ballistics at this point. Won't be surprised if Miguel did too, but Pike is on the way to the Imperial Age. That's pretty insane. Obviously Japanese fishing ships, he's on 18 fish still, he hasn't lost any, he's got all of this great fishing at the back. But Miguel hot on his heels, only 20 seconds later with Huns, that's pretty good. And so even with Pike's early Imperial Age, bots will continue to put the pressure on in the north. Now though, Nadya's boys are starting to get a little bit of a sandwich going. Miguel's got some weird glitchy galleys going on here, and this is potentially a great fight for Nadya's boys. Feels like bots may be overcommitted a little bit here, and they are taking significant losses as they retreat out of there. So Wonder and Pike with 60 galleys compared to Gary and Miguel 60 as well. Actually, they've still got plenty in the north, even as they're taking some bad losses as they retreat out of there. Let's have a look at the south again. We did see Goku and Nikov saying to GB, looks like Mentalist is now onto a good number. We haven't really seen him participating too much beyond those few feudal galleys defending his docks in the early part of the feudal age. As Nikov and Goku applied the pressure, but now with the Saracens, it's starting to get a frightening looking navy. It's only missing ballistics, of course, which is just now kicking in, but Zuppi has that already, I'm pretty sure, and they are doing good damage to those slightly mispositioned galleys by Goku as they try and bail out. And the score lead is switching all the time now, so pretty neck and neck. That's going to maintain as 2 players from opposite teams hit the Imperial Age at the same time. Mio is saying they should have explored the front island of Wonder because they can GG him with the galleys and take him off gold. Gary does have a couple of galleys parked there, and they've got some vills, but just looking at Gary's fog of war view, let's see, he's completely aware that that gold's there. So perhaps you're right, Mio. Maybe instead of going all the way down here and then actually having to bail out after taking a bad fight, just camp this position. Maybe that would have been the way. Ooh, a massive fight going on in the south. The Mentalist Saracens are going to be really helping here. Zuppi's galley's not really fighting too effectively though. The Mentalists are under the combined fire of Nikov and Goku. Doesn't want to stick around. Maybe the Nabs will just re-patrol this and just try and line up a bit better and then come back forward. But it doesn't look like it. They don't want to stick around there. It's always a bit tricky taking a fight on your opponent's docks. Often you get half your galleys shooting at the enemy docks whilst their galleys kill you. So not liking the positioning there. And you know, when they've got Saracen, I didn't really make too much of this earlier on in terms of highlighting it, but you're always going to do pretty good if you just kind of ride it out to the later game with the Saracens. They really come into their own as the game goes on. And whoever said in the chat it looks laggy, that is the impression that I'm getting as well. So Imperial Age upgrades kicking in. Miguel with Galleon done, Pike with Galleon done, and we're starting to get a massive traffic jam of galleys here on this kind of corner of Wonder's Island. So far this fight appears to be going better for Nadya's boys. They had both navies kind of patrolling and stack up nicely, whilst Gary's galleys were sort of messing around, and that patrol will see a lot of galleys go to the back of Miguel's formation and take a bunch more damage as they try and get out of there. I think Nabs are holding pretty well in the north, when with the kind of fact that they did get driven back and the vulnerability of Wonder's Island, it doesn't feel like they have that much right to be holding this well, and a little bit of a lack of communication there I felt, as well, as Miguel turned back and kind of first of all tried to take the fight with a column, which didn't work so well against the better concave that the Nabs team had, but Gary was kind of 2 seconds late to try and take that fight with Miguel. So I know it's so hard to tell with these galleys matched up, but I still feel like this is going better for Nabs. Gary is about to hit the Imperial Age, but he's losing a lot of war galleys right now, so he won't have as many to upgrade. He's got 33. Wonder though has almost nothing, so Pike's going to have to hold this more or less by himself. Miguel with 59, so he hasn't got them all here. Surely not. Where are the rest of them? He's got some on Pike's Island, he's got some in random channels, a lot streaming in reinforcements, and wow, got my whole computer frozen when I dropped it. Yeah, despite the numbers that bots have on the field, Miguel with 60 compared to Pike's 45, and then Gary with 30 compared to like 18 for Wonder. Nab still took that fight, so they've got more galleys in the right place and better positioning there. Meanwhile in the south, as I suggested, Zuppi and Mental is still the ones who are just kind of content to wait, play the long game. And Zuppi's actually getting coinage to start slinging a bit now, so I wouldn't be surprised if he sends a bit to Mentalist, because the Saracen galleys perhaps a better use of the resources there. Well, Saracen galleons obviously, once they get upgraded. But Mentalist is also not up to the Imperial Age yet, which is something that I had sort of missed. He's only 300 food, and I guess he needs some food sling to help him get up as well. I guess a possible reason for this, along with the fact that Saracens don't have great eco bonuses at all really, besides being able to abuse the market, is the fact that Mentalist did lose fish so early. We saw Nikov saying that Mentalist lost his fish, and so Mentalist is still struggling to get up to the Imperial Age. Let's see how Goku was doing as his direct opponent. Yeah, likewise, quite a long way away, but 800 food going to Mentalist, so Mentalist will be up, and we're going to have Saracen galleons. That's going to be pretty important. Meanwhile in the north though, just seeing these green and purple splodges, they're going for it once more. We did say that Miguel has the best numbers here. Someone in one of the restarts of this game, before we actually got the game going, was saying Miguel probably the best pocket water player there, and so far he's playing a stonking game. 300 points ahead of the also formidable on water Northern Pike, and with consistently higher galley numbers. Gary, meanwhile, more than double the galleys of Wonder, and he's also in the Imperial Age, with Wonder still stranded in the Feudal Age, so North is looking good for Bots United now. This fight is still hard to judge. Lots of galleys kind of stacked up on top of each other, others not really getting involved in the fight. But meanwhile, Wonder taking a horrible fight against +4 galleons there with just his war galleys, so losing galleys all the time without any prospect of upgrading them. And right here, Pike has lost a lot of numbers, down to 40 galleons, whilst Miguel's still on 65. He's bringing more up in the rear, but right now it's just stacked up so much better for the bots. Let's take a quick look at the south. Big engagement on the horizon here probably, but still neither team really committing to just patrolling in and fighting it out like men. Although arguably that's not the situation the bots team would want to have happen once Mentalist gets all the upgrades on his Saracen galleys. right now Nikov fighting alone, bad coordination with Goku. He's going to have to bail out there, take more damage on the way out. Where the hell is Goku? He's in the southern corner trying to sneak around the back. I don't know what he was going to achieve with that. Almost caught out some of Zuppy's galleons on no patrol there, but they are going to fight and do some damage before being sunk to the bottom of the ocean. In the north though, Miguel and Gary are storming it. Pike plus Wonder is 55 galleons. Gary plus Miguel is 140 galleons pretty much. So there's only one winner in the north, and it's not going to be long until the Miguel can cross over and just help out in the south, and that's exactly what he's doing right now. As we see this green stream along across the map on the minimap, he's going to group up with Nikov and Goku and really try and apply some pressure. Get transport ship for Zuppy. Going to try and occupy these extra resource islands, I assume, but whether that will be safe to do so, I don't know, because the superiority is there on the water for Bots United. So Gary has just sent a whole bunch of resources to Goku. He sent him 1,000 food, but he's actually already up. So not entirely sure what he's going to do with all that food apart from sell it. Maybe sling it back onto someone else. Play the sling game of everyone continually re-sling each other's resources until it diminishes to 0. That's always fun. But yeah, Mentis in the Imperial Age now. Saracen Galleon's done. Chemistry almost finished, so almost fully upgraded. And nice patrol there when without Miguel's help, Nikov doesn't fancy that. It seems like the Bots United team with Goku, Miguel and Nikov here are they're just waiting for the moment when they're really going to group up and just take this, because the numbers advantage they have is insane. Mentis is now going to just patrol in and just go for it, but the problem is it's such a narrow channel that a lot of his galleons aren't involved in the fight. And look at this surround by Bots United. Nikov and Miguel just killing everything there. But still, Mentalist maintaining a good number of galleons in that gap, and Zuppy is coming with a few on the left. So siege rams being added in, and the numbers aren't really shrinking for the Nadya's boys team here too much until Goku comes into the fight, and that is the thing that is going to swing this fight here. Goku's just like the third guy coming in with another 50 galleons, and suddenly Mentalist Saracen's galleons outperforming as they were starting to look a bit thin on the ground in terms of numbers, but Zuppy comes in with some more in the north. The sea trams are there, and this fight is still going better for Nadya's boys than I feel it had any right to. The problem is the other side, really. Pike 20 galleys, Wonder 20, and obviously Gary is here with 70, and as Vikings he's just going to go from strength to strength here. He's already landed Wonder's Island. Sorry for missing this for a little while, although he hasn't made too much forward progress. Just getting up a castle and 3 siege workshops and starting to treb stuff. Applying pressure to Wonder's front. Gold is the only remaining one. Wonder's actually got a whole bunch of towers. I have no recollection of whether Vikings get a heated shot. With all these towers it would almost be a good idea, but I suspect he's struggling for resources and has other priorities here, as Gary will just start siege ramming everything down. And in the south, Mentalist is down to 8 galleons and he's calling GG. There's just massive galleons from the bots players. It's just overwhelming. Pike plays so well, almost alone for most of the mid-game really, but eventually he caved in, and the prediction at the start of the game that Miguel would be MVP for the bots team I think is fair. Nikov also played a blinder, and pretty comfortable win. So Niltford, member of the bots team, have more faith in your teammates and their home map choice, because this was a good one in the end, and perhaps surprise a few people who thought Nadya's boys' superior cooperation might take the game. But it's going to be 1-1 in the series. And Tato, similar line of questioning of Niltford's faith in his teammates there. Still not happy. The players have already headed into the game setup screen for Game 3 and Nadya's boys' home map, so it won't be terribly long until we're into that game. I'm going to put some music on and be right back in a couple of minutes.